What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. David Wigfield here with Wigfield's Productions. For those of you who have not been by the channel, thank you so much for clicking on the video. I truly appreciate it. It really helps me out. And I hope that you guys can get a little bit of beneficial information if you guys are looking at starting your own videography business and starting to get out there and shoot for clients. So stick around and I hope you guys enjoy the video. But for today, what I have planned is I have another cocktail shoot. Since I have been working through Foxtrail Distillery's bar menu, we have been shooting each individual drink and putting it together in a cinematic B-roll dynamic way and for them to present onto their social media pages. So today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you guys along with me as I'm shooting that video. Today I'm shooting Ashley. She's been on the channel before, super talented bartender. But yeah, we're gonna be putting that together. I'm gonna take you into Premiere Pro with me and kind of show you how I edit all of that together to flow and be really high quality. So with that being said, I've got to go get ready for the shoot, so I will see you guys when I get back. All right, guys, and we're back from the distillery. It did end up getting a little bit dark outside while I was over there, so I did set up my lighting, so I apologize for the inconsistent light from the first to the second shot. But we were able to put together an awesome sequence, got that all sent over to Evan, the creative director there at the distillery. And I want to kind of start off by letting you guys take a look at what I was able to come up with, and then I'll slide over into Premiere Pro and show you the breakdown of my process and my timeline and kind of show you the workflow, where I get my music, where I get my sound effects, all that good stuff. So without further ado, I'm gonna let you take a look at the video and I'll catch you after it's done. All right, guys, so here we are in Premiere Pro. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the step-by-step process of what I do whenever I create my videos. So step number one, I load all of my footage into the project. And so over here, you know, you see I've got the folder here. And in the folder, I have all my clips and all that good stuff that's loaded in and ready to go. Step number two is I find music. So I like to edit to the beat, and it works out a lot better for me personally if I have music to edit to, rather than, you know, editing and then adding the track in a little bit later. It just tends to flow a lot better once you edit to the beat. So I get my music over here at Epidemic Sound. They have a large majority of songs that you can choose from, anything from hip hop to jazz to you know, sound effects, all kinds of stuff is here. And so this is a great resource to use if you're able to pay for the subscription. And the other place that I like to go is MusicBed, and MusicBed has an awesome majority of music as well, and they have pretty much the same kind of deal as Epidemic Sound, except they don't have too many sound effects. It's mostly just really good creative artists that are putting their music out there and licensing it for us to use commercially and all that good stuff. So that is a subscription based as well, but those are the two main places that I go in order to get my music. After the music, and after I'm finished, you know, editing to the beat and making sure that everything is flowing really nicely together, I will go down and add in my sound effects. The sound effects is a really tedious part of the process. It's very important. And if you don't have good sound effects, then it kind of ruins the video. So your sound effects are just as important as the footage that you capture. and you want to make sure that it's really high quality and sounds really good for your listeners. Right here you can see I have blue and green, and the blue sound effects, these are all going to be organic sounds that I got whenever I was doing the shoot. And so this comes from, you know, my VideoMic Pro, my lav mic, whatever I'm using at the time. And then down here in the green, these are all sound effects that are found on Epidemic Sound. And if you can't pay for the subscription, a great resource for you to use is freesound.org. And basically on Freesound, it's very similar to Epidemic. Whenever you go to this website, they have awesome sound effects that you can use from sound effects producers. And let's just say that you want to find, you know, a whoosh. And it comes up with hundreds of them. And so the thing that I really like to do whenever I go here though, so I don't get hit with any copyright laws or anything like that, is I'll go to the Creative Commons. And right here, I'll just quickly show you. This work is licensed under the Creative Commons license. And so if you click on that, you can copy, modify, distribute, and perform the work even for commercial purposes, all without asking permission. See other information below. So there is no copyright on those sound effects, and it's a super handy tool if you need something and you just don't have the money for the subscription through Epidemic Sound. After I get those all laid out and lined up with my footage, I will go right into my color correction and color grade. And so my color correction and my color grade both come from Cinemagrade. This is a super awesome plugin that I use, and it has so many helpful tools to help you just nail the color on your footage. And so the way that it's set up here, you have your base correction, and then you have your final grade. And so base correction, this is where you go in and do your adjustments, make it a flat profile. And so it's easy to grade whenever you're finishing up your colors. But base correction, I usually like to go in and fix my exposure, fix my highlights, fix my midtones, you know, make everything the way that I want it to be without the grade. And then for final grade, this is where you add on your looks and your LUTs. And whenever you load those into your final grade, you have a mix over here. And so I can put 100% on and it looks like super dark, but I usually tend to stick around about 35 to 40 whenever I am adding in any of these looks or LUTs, and that just tends to be like the sweet spot. And then from there I go in and do some more minor adjustments with my exposure, my highlights, different things like that to make the colors perfect. But after that, after I go into Cinemagrade and get my color grade and everything on there perfect, I'll add an adjustment layer and throw on Lumetri Color. And so in Lumetri Color, I do some more fine tweaks. I adjust the highlights a little bit. Here, the highlights were a little bit too high after I added on the grade, and so I just brought them down with Lumetri Color. And then I go in and I add a very, very slight fade to the look, and that just makes it look super cinematic and filmish. And then I adjust my sharpening because the color profile that I use on my Sony a7 III, it does take a lot of the sharpening out, so I usually add that in here. And then I exported it the first time and it was a little desaturated, and so here I added back in a little bit saturation. And then the next step, I go to my curves and add in a very slight adjustment curve, and this just adds in a little bit more contrast, makes the contrast pop, makes the film pop a little bit more. And it just tends to get me the look that I'm looking for. So after that, I'll add in, you know, these little effects. A lot of people don't really notice them, but these cinematic bars that come in really slowly, what I'll do is I'll add a crop to that same adjustment layer. And if you look over here, so right here I have the crop thrown onto my adjustment layer. And so I go to the very first frame that it starts, and in order to get it to come in slow, this is what you do. So you add a keyframe. So by hitting these stopwatches here and here for the top and the bottom, you create those keyframes, and you leave those at 0. And then you go through a few frames and you bump them up to 10. And what that does is it keeps the 10% crop on the top and the bottom through the remainder of the video, and just makes your film look really cinematic and like it's a movie. And I really like the look of that. And then right here, I like to add in this fade out to black. And what I do here is I come over here to the effects, go to video transitions, dip to black, and drag that onto the clip. And the way to get it to fade out, you know, really, really smoothly like that, really slowly, you click the effect, come over here to effect controls, and change the end to 50. And what that does is it just makes it, you know, really, really smoothly go out. And that is pretty much the process that I go by every single time I make a film. All right, guys, and that concludes the video. I hope you guys learned something and are able to implement it into your videos. Like I said, this process is something that I stick by, and it's a very, very smooth process for me every single time. So I think that it's something that will really help your videos out. If you do have any questions about anything at all as far as your color grade or your sound effects, anything like that, please leave a comment down below. I'm more than happy to get back to you and help you out with that. I really enjoy helping people make, you know, the best product that they can possibly make for their clients as well. So I really appreciate you guys coming by, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. I've got a lot more super cool tutorials that I'm going to be uploading this year in 2020, and I look forward to helping you all out. So with that being said, thank you guys again, and I will see you in the next one.